Hope everybody had a great 4th of July, as we are going to sit back and talk about wrestling for the next 40 minutes or so and dive into this week in WWE, the good, the bad, the in-between, everything that I can fit into about that time frame. And I hope everybody had a happy, safe 4th. And now we move on to the next holiday, which, what is it? Labor Day? I think it is. My God. And that'll be here before you know it. We're going to blink. June's already gone. We're already a week into July. Once you get to August, you're already thinking about September. So it's just going to fly by. And then before you know it, leaves are changing. Football's starting. MLB playoffs are underway. And we'll be thinking about the cold and the snow before you know it. Depending on where you live, of course. So I hope that you enjoy the next several weeks of summer. For those of you that get 4 seasons and are currently in the summer season, it's not going to last long. It will be a blink, and your kids will be back at school and everything else. It's just, it's crazy the older you get. I know I sound like a cliche, but until you experience it, you don't really understand how quick time goes. I mean, I'm more than halfway through my life, according to statistics, but all right, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about wrestling. While we're on this earth, let's talk about wrestling. And we're going to talk about this week and also give you an invitation to join us at Patreon, because you can go ad-free at patreon.com/WWE podcast. And we do have a new member who has joined us. I want to give a shout out to them. And Wrestle King, thank you for joining us over there on Patreon. So shout out to Wrestle King for joining us. And somebody also joined us on the free side of the membership, which is Rubio is the last name. I think it's Teddy Bear. And I don't mean teddy bear. It's just Teddy Bear, unless that's supposed to be one of those names that make me say things I shouldn't say. But anyway, welcome to the free side and the ad-free side of things. So I want to just talk quickly. I got an email from somebody, and I don't want to wait until the mailbag, which I typically would, and it's because it's such a unique email. I got it today, and I want to read it to you because perhaps it can help this person. And I hope it does in some way. So the email reads, I'm reaching out on behalf of my husband. We are from Crookston, Minnesota. And on June 17th, my husband sustained a life-changing injury, a massive blood clot severely compressing his spinal cord, leaving him paralyzed from the chest down. He is at Courage Kenny Rehabilitation Institute in Minneapolis. He's also a huge WWE fan, and SummerSlam is coming to the US Bank Stadium in August. He's receiving 3 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week of intensive rehabilitation therapy, and is feeling really down about what happened to him, and I'm trying to get some SummerSlam tickets for my family to cheer him up. Can you get us some attention from WWE? Here's a GoFundMe link. Also interested in reading more details. This is from Josie. I'll keep the last name private for now, and got her phone number and all that. So first of all, I think she thinks I have more power than I do. I'm not affiliated with WWE in any capacity. That doesn't mean that perhaps people in WWE watch my content. That's very possible. In fact, I know it's happened in the past because I've received emails from agents asking to be on my show from various wrestlers. But that said, the limited help I can provide, I will. What that'll mean is anybody that wants to go to the GoFundMe to help this person, I'm going to put a link on my X. I'm also going to put a link in the description notes of this show. This is legitimate. This is not a scam. This is a real fundraiser going on right now at GoFundMe. And the description you can read in more detail. there's much more about what happened and complications and everything like that. So I would encourage you I'm not trying to start out on a sad note. I'm glad at least he's alive. So there is some positive there, but I would encourage anybody that wants to donate to this person to help them with their medical needs. And if anyone at WWE is listening, to help them get tickets to SummerSlam. I think that would be really cool. And I will put the link again on my X, which you can follow me. Just search the WWE podcast. I'll put a video out probably as well. On top of that, I'm going to put the link to the GoFundMe in the description notes of this show. If you want to click on it, see what it's about, make your own determination. But this seems to be very, very legitimate. There's always a chance that something's a scam. Everybody thinks everyone's looking to scam somebody, but I truly don't believe that this is. I have no reason to believe that this is. You can check it out for yourself. There's photos of the family. Several people have already donated. So I'll be doing that. All right. Well, let's get to it. Let's talk about the less important stuff, the actual wrestling shows that took place this week. I'm going to give you a little bit of a SmackDown recap, and Amanda has already done that, as she does every week. Shout out to her. But I have to say, my God, was the crowd horrible. Now, I understand it's a double taping. You're in Atlantic City. You just filmed Raw. Now you got SmackDown. I get it. You're going to have a very depressed crowd. But my God, I think I would have been more entertained if the crowd was, if this show was actually done during the pandemic era. I think it would have been more entertaining. We would have gotten more sound from the pandemic era crowd, which is to say, of course, there was no crowd. That's the joke. Than they were in Atlantic City. I mean, you guys were, I get it. It's a lot of wrestling. I totally understand. But this must make everyone in Europe spin in their graves. Well, everybody that's dead, but it would make them go crazy. I want somebody in Europe where they pass through and you guys go crazy for 3 hours. I want to hear from somebody in Europe that listen to the crowd on SmackDown and give your opinion compared to your experience going to a WWE event in your city, wherever that may be, Clash in Italy, wherever it was, or whatever experience you had over the last few years. I'm so curious because that crowd in Atlantic City, you guys look, my crowd's no champion. We aren't. We're very, very mediocre at best. But good Lord, at least pretend to get your money's worth. All right. My God. All right, let's move on. So what happened on SmackDown? It opened with Sami Zayn coming out, and he talked about how people in the arena are here to, quote, ride or die with the last good guy. And Sami said that all the support has touched him from the bottom of his heart, and he thanked everyone. He acknowledged how he's been booed out of the building for the last few months and said it was ironic because those same people booing were wanting to see him as champion a few years ago. And he said he could tell them to kiss my ass, but he won't because he's a good guy, even though, again, the whole thing is he said it, but then said he wouldn't say that. Again, that's the joke. But Sami said he's holding it in because he won't change, and he told people to be more mean and or cutthroat. He said he didn't listen. He said that he did it his way, he did it the right way, and he can be pretty close to all the doubt, or he can tell everyone that said he would never win the big one to kiss his ass, but he wouldn't say that, of course, doing the same thing. Now, I will say this. If he truly believes, or if anybody believes that those who were looking for him to win a championship 3 years ago are now the ones booing him, well, when are we obligated to cheer for a star in perpetuity? What is that our obligation? We're just supposed to support somebody forever? Is that the idea? That once we decide, hey, yeah, you're our guy, let's go, and you go 0-9 in championship opportunities, and suddenly we're supposed to go, and be behind you no matter what forever? No, that's of course not how things work. 3 years ago is a lifetime ago in wrestling. That was during the height of Roman Reigns' run as champion. The Bloodline was actually an interesting story. Sami Zayn was the growing babyface of the entire company inside the Bloodline. He finally turned on Roman Reigns to one of the biggest reactions of all time. No, it's different, Sammy. People grow, change, stories change. 3 years ago, we were just coming out of the pandemic era. No, absolutely not. That is not what we are obligated to do. However, I get his point, except it's unfounded when you think about it for 3 seconds. So, Sammy said that he is a WrestleMania main eventer and a Grand Slam champion. He said no amount of booing, hate, and noise will take that away from him. Okay, fine. You can call yourself a WrestleMania main eventer all you want. And I guess on paper, that's true when you challenge the Usos for the World or the WWE Tag Team Championships with Kevin Owens. Can't wait till he comes back, which, I mean, here's the thing about Kevin Owens. Trying not to go on too many tangents, but there's a lot of talk of him possibly coming back soon. Maybe he is. That'd be great for him. I would say that at this point, we can be just on a Kevin Owens watch or maybe an advisory. Not a Kevin Owens warning. It's not imminent, but the conditions are starting to come together where he could return. We don't know his health. Only he knows his health and WWE knows his health. But at least we can start to talk and think about the possibilities of him when he comes back. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm starting to put him back into my mind a little bit. So let's continue. Cody Rhodes came out and Sammy cleverly asked Cody what he wants to talk about. And Cody said Sammy reminded him of when he won the title and how Sammy was the first person to come to him and celebrate. And Cody started to leave after he said, "Congratulations, champ." And Sammy told Cody to drop the American Nightmare act because he knows Cody is here for more. And Sammy said he knows that Sammy has something Cody wants. And Jey ends up interrupting because we know we're ready for a A-plus promo from one of the scholars of our time, Jey Uso. And he hugged Sammy, called him his dog, and Sammy and Jey did their bloodline handshake. And Jey said he won't run it back because it's all about Sammy Zayn now. And Jey said Sammy deserves it, but Sammy knows why he's here. And Jey said this was bloodline business and a warning shot. He's really trying to make that a thing. He is trying hard to make that warning shot a thing. So Jey said he needs to bring the title back to the family, and Sammy said that essentially, as far as I'm concerned, it hasn't left the family. So this goes on. I'm not going to give you every little intricate piece here. He ended up leaving. Sammy did, from the ring, and Adam Pearce comes out as the acting GM of SmackDown with Nick Aldis on essentially leave because of the altercation with Gunther. And Adam Pearce said he's going to have Sammy wrestle on Monday to defend the championship. And he booked Cody versus Jey for later in the show to find out who's going to be the number one contender. So, yeah, the crowd loved that. There's nothing worse than being at a show that's essentially just there to promote the next show. And I know, I guess by just default, that's what the shows are. You have to have one show leave you with something wanting more. I get it. But when there's something so glaring that's there that you're like, come on. There's nothing like hearing in person. And next week on Raw, so-and-so returns next week. There's nothing worse. It's your worst fear as a fan. It's your worst fear. It feels like almost you've been scammed, It's a heartbreaking thing. So, all right. Anyway, we're going to get, we all know, we'll talk about at the end here of the show with Sami Zayn defending against Cody Rhodes. and the impending return of CM Punk that we all believe is about to happen. So we'll continue with that in a moment. All right. So Charlotte Flair, that is, Tiffany Stratton and Chelsea Green take on Jade Cargill, Mia Meacham, and B-Fab. The match was quick, 5.5 minutes, with Jade winning, and no wig, no hair malfunctions, just a very straightforward kind of dominating win for Jade Cargill after she hits her finish, and that's what they needed. That's what they need. Jade, it's not because of her hair mishap. I really don't care about it. I'm beyond over it. I mean, I don't care next week if she comes out and she's walking to the ring and, I mean, her whole outfit falls apart. Not that she gets naked, but like she has her wrestling boot is torn, or her hair falls out, her lipstick is smeared. Like, I don't care. Doesn't matter. Like, all that stuff is funny and it's a viral moment for a hot second. But I'm more concerned about you in the ring and what your character can deliver and how we feel about your character than these silly ass moments. I mean, I don't care who you are, black, white, even though she's trying to make it, of course, somehow racist, because that's just what you do in these day and age. You just, no matter what position you're in or how privileged you are socioeconomically, you try to position yourself as the victim, because with victimhood comes power, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, she is very much just kind of rolling with the culture today. However, I don't care if that happens. None of that seems to bother me at all. I mean, I commented on it a little bit, but I'm whatever. However, what I care about is Jade Cargill and her group are gaining momentum. That's what they need. That's what she needs more than anything. All right. So we got some Sami Zayn stuff backstage. I mean, Johnny Gargano being comatose. Boy, oh boy. What is Johnny Gargano doing? I mean, you could say and argue, well, he's getting airtime. Yeah, I guess, fine. But that's the weakest case for getting airtime of all time. You hear it all from different wrestlers and former managers and everybody that, hey, look, if you're on the air, that's a positive. And yes, 99 out of 100 times that's true. But what is this supposed to be? I can guarantee you that WWE doesn't know themselves. They have no clue where it's going. What they're hoping, here's what they're hoping. That this just somehow catches on and becomes a meme. And people start hilariously laughing at this. And this becomes a comedy segment. Because we all know it's not supposed to be taken seriously. So they are crossing their fingers that they're going to catch lightning in a bottle with this stupid planking comatose Johnny Gargano, who's just planking in a transient state and various objects backstage, that it's going to somehow catch on and be a thing with fans. And that people start planking maybe on Instagram or on TikTok or wherever, and they're doing the Johnny Gargano. That's, I think, what ultimately this is trying to do and accomplish. Because there is no end game for this. They have no end game. What could it possibly be? They don't know. They're just going to try this, and I think they're probably running a little bit short with it at this point. And I think it'll end soon because it's not catching on. Ray Phoenix versus Vikingo. Did I say that? Vikingo. There's no N, not Vikingo, but Vikingo. There we go. For the Cruiserweight Championship, the AAA Cruiserweight Championship. Man, this is good. You like high, fast-paced luchador wrestling as advertised for the AAA Championship? Great. I know it was only 5 minutes and change, but Ray Phoenix beating Vikingo was... I don't think anybody cared who really won. It was just, let's see what these guys can do, and they delivered in the 5.5 minutes. This is the definition of maximizing your minutes. And I say minutes just barely plurally. They killed it. And yes, was a little bit too much too quick, but they're trying to get their shit in. I understand that. The 450 splash, man, that looked brutal, but impressive. And ultimately, yes, Ray Phoenix wins. But this is, I would have liked to have seen them get more time. I would have liked to see them get, 10 minutes for this, not 5. But I don't know what the ultimate plan is, though, for AAA and the integration of them into the main roster. I think, once again, WWE is hoping that the fans gravitate to this kind of subgenre of pro wrestling where they're watching the main product, but also they give at least a significant time of a portion of their time and effort and energy to paying attention to and caring about the AAA brand. And I don't know if that's happened yet. I don't think it has. What the fans do when they see this is, oh, this is the cruiserweight division of WWE. That's how we view it. That's how I view it. I understand that AAA is a promotion that WWE purchased. And they're still going under the AAA brand. They have not modified the naming. They've just purchased the company and left it kind of as is, so to speak, with at least the marketing and branding of the championships and that kind of thing. But to me, I just look at it as the cruiserweight division, the cruiserweight championship. That's how I kind of look at it. But either way, I mean, they're talented as hell. And that's what you look at this for. So let's see, the second hour of the show, Trick Williams and Little Yachty come out, and we have Carmelo point out that Trick won't answer him. He said he'll give Trick his flowers and the title looks great on him and the crowd loves him, but that's only because Melo didn't decide to stop him yet. And he said he made the championship into a championship. Yeah, that's not true. While Trick made the title into an accessory. Kind of true. Melo said if Trick and Yachty want a title, he'll give them a discount code for a replica on WWE Shop. And Melo said that the U.S. title is the workhorse match of the night title and the title for hungry guys. You know what? I want to stop with this idea. And it's not just because I don't particularly like some of the guys in this segment. It really just, I don't care who's saying that, just the text of this idea that the Intercontinental Championship and the U.S. Championship are the workhorse titles. We've all just accepted that. And I had too for a long time. That they're the workhorse championship and that the guys at the top of the world titles are really just the marketing guys, the guys that can carry the company. Well, to me, wouldn't the guys at the top have to be the workhorses in order to hold on to those championships and be the face of the company and also carry the weight of the company on their shoulders and have a bunch of pressure to have a great match every night? Otherwise, why would you ascend to that next level? If you're already a workhorse, if that's all that you need, then why would you not be able to go any higher, or why would you go any higher? What's missing from being a U.S. championship, from being a U.S. Champion to being a undisputed champion? Do you see where I'm going here? Like, I know what they're trying to do. They're branding this as just, this is how the pro wrestlers who don't have a whole lot of personality, this is what they do. Especially the Intercontinental Championship, seemingly. The guys that don't have a great promo, but they can work like hell in the ring. Well, why is that exclusive to those who carry the U.S. Intercontinental Championships? Why are we just accepting this? No, the guys at the top are the workhorses. That's why they're at the top. You don't get to the top by not busting your ass and being a workhorse and having matches of the night. That's how you get to the top. And that's also, spoiler alert, how you stay there. But again, what they're implying is it's all about the pro wrestling with these mid-card championships, which is, of course, bullshit. Pro wrestling, if you're not in there to be a world champion or undisputed champion, you're in the wrong business, as Stone Cold has said and many others have said. I'm not saying anything new or enlightening, but I don't like this idea anymore that I beat it to death. So Melo said that Trick's out here like he had too much to eat. Whatever. Melo told Trick to prove him wrong and asked Trick to put the title on the line against somebody who knows better than anybody. And he said he's not buying Trick trying to be the best U.S. champion of all time. And Melo said Trick may walk the walk and talk with them, but he has 2 left feet and a mouthful of marbles when he's in there with him. what? This was bad. It gets worse because you have Yachty then say that Trick has been nothing short to pure greatness. Again, talking about Melo's height, because that's what we do now. Yachty then asked the crowd if they should give this young, small man, again, second shot number 2, a match. And Yachty said, not to blow a blood vessel, he said Melo has a match next week, but not for the title. And he said that titles are earned and not given, so no handouts. See, okay, if they're all my bitching, bingo. And I believe that Trick Williams is supposed to be a babyface, and if that's the case, that's a change in culture. If babyfaces are not giving out championship opportunities like candy, that's a change. I thought we were supposed to be kind of giving them away so that we didn't look like cowards. Whatever happened to that? So very well said. It's just plainly said, I should say. It's not well said. It's just very plain, simple, easy to understand language that every champion should abide by, heel, babyface, or otherwise. He said that Yachty's giving the match to Trick so he gets his reps in. And that's when Trick said that that he knows Melo like the back of his hand, and he then backhanded Melo, and Melo then ended up retaliating with a flip dive. So this analysis I'm reading says awesome stuff. I really like that Trick minimized his talking here as he allowed Carmelo to get his stuff out on the mic, as well as the little Yachty being able to shine. He has low-key been a bit of a revolution in pro wrestling in that he's showing he was a serious pro wrestling manager and he can deliver. No, he's not. What are you talking about? No, he has not gotten over. He is not. I mean, he may. I'm not saying that he's doom and gloom, but no. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Am I watching the same product as you? Because not only that, okay, Little Yachty, I have not been a fan of as of yet. I mean, I've seen worse, but to me, he's the, what did I call him on X that I thought was actually pretty accurate? He's the in-house Travis Scott. That's who we have, an in-house Travis Scott for me until further notice. And then what made it worse is we had Trick Williams backhand Melo, which is fine, but again, I'm not sure if Trick is supposed to be fish or fowl, heel or baby. I'm not sure. But then he went into, he spoke nicely on the mic, backhanded him, and then went into ghetto mode. And yes, I said ghetto mode because he starts talking about, he said something off the mic that's something to akin of, you don't speak to, the adults are talking now. Know your place. The adults are speaking now. Something along those lines. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? The adults are in the room, or the adults are speaking? I'm not sure. Now, to me, I did not love this segment. And yes, the crowd didn't help because they were half asleep. But, all right, DanHausen was in his lab with the zombified Kit Wilson and Miz. And Matt Cardona walks in, and he ends up turning up a dial for DanHausen that ends up electrifying Kate Wilson and Miz more. So I don't know. This to me was a miss. I didn't love this one. I've been a fan of what they've done thus far and give credit to everyone involved in the DanHausen success, especially from the merch sales, which is really all the success can be measured at this point because he's not wrestling, barely. But I do think that it's been largely a success. If you're measuring dollars, then yeah, it's been a success. This is, to me, this was a miss on SmackDown. I did not love this. I think that they can find a different way to use DanHausen other than in a lab. But, all right, moving on. So, Brie Bella and Paige, well, with Paige, took on Lainey Reed, and she was with JC Jane and Fallon Henley. super quick match with Lainey Reed defeating Brie Bella in 3 minutes. And this was just with no crowd reaction at all. I mean, could you have seen Paige's return at the Rumble translating to this, where Paige essentially got no reaction? I mean, you have Paige out there, one of the trailblazers, or faces, I should say, of the women's evolution from a decade ago, and there's barely a reaction. Barely. So, I don't know. Nonetheless, Lainey Reed got the victory over Brie Bella. So anytime a Bella gets a loss, it's a good day. So, all right. Moving on. I mean, I don't need to see Paige and Brie Bella together anymore. That also is not helping. All right. There was a hot dog eating contest. I don't care. I just don't. We have then Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes in the main event on match 4 of the evening. And the match went 9 minutes. And Cody Rhodes wins with a crossroads. Fairly easy victory for Cody Rhodes in comparison to his previous matches. And the crowd didn't love this, but it's the only option you can do so that we can get past Cody getting a rematch. I don't think he'll win it back on Monday. It's possible. I don't think he will, because as I've suspected, as many have suspected, CM Punk is likely about to return. Raw is in Chicago on Monday. He'll get a big reaction. I don't know if he's there to screw over Cody or have multiple segments. Maybe he opens Raw and then he goes away and you think he's done and he comes back and screws over Cody. Very possible. But I don't know if I would do anything heelish with CM Punk in his hometown. It's not going to work. Unless you're trying to turn Cody, and that would work very brilliantly. So I don't know what's going to happen here. There could be a miscue. That's probably what's going to happen. Maybe Punk says he's back, and I'm sure you heard the rumors, and he'll tie in the rumors of the tension between him and WWE in his promos. He does that kind of stuff very well, I should say. And maybe he'll say, hey, Cody, I'll be in your corner tonight when you face Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Championship. Then there's some miscue, and you could read into it, hey, did Punk do that on purpose or not? And it kind of leaves a little bit of ambiguity. It doesn't turn anybody heel or babyface, kind of everyone as is, but there's that tension that starts to build between Cody and Punk, and they go out and have a match at SummerSlam with no championship. Now, you of course could have Sami Zayn, and this is also a very good possibility. Sami Zayn versus Punk versus Cody Rhodes. That to me seems even more likely, with CM Punk maybe regaining the championship, but it's also very possible that Sami retains. So, all right. Well, before we put the cart before the horse, a lot to talk about tomorrow on Raw, I'm sure. So, big thing coming out of Monday Night Raw. Oba Femi, Brock Lesnar, Hell in a Cell, SummerSlam. Didn't see that coming. Credit to everybody on that. Now, yes, you have to go out and execute. These two men will. They don't know anything else. Young, strong guy. One of the biggest stars, up and coming stars the company has right now, at Oba Femi, versus a legacy star that could still destroy most of humanity single-handedly if he wanted to. And they don't know how to fail. I'm not worried about really the reception of the match. I am worried about the length. I've been a bit of a critic of this, that they can go longer. I don't know why they haven't. But in a Hell in a Cell, you can't go 5 minutes. You just can't. But they do. I mean, they do. And we all know Oba Femi is going to come out victorious. There's almost no chance that Brock Lesnar comes out of that with a victory. So it's also very possible that that is Brock's last match. In which case we have Gunther floating out there in the ether, just angry and complaining to a SmackDown GM about his his failures in matches, blaming the general manager. The general manager can't keep his head on straight. So we've gone from Gunther being a dominant world champion. And yes, he tapped out to Jey Uso at WrestleMania a couple years ago, which was just a horrific decision. But since then, he has had a nice run, retiring AJ Styles, beating John Cena and Goldberg in their already predetermined retirement matches. Notice I didn't say he retired them because he didn't. But under his belt, he's got some pretty big names. And yet, since he retired, or he beat John Cena in his retirement match, you have Gunther doing what exactly? What are we supposed to be interested with Gunther? Him and Nick Aldis? Again, you want to have that match, fine. I have nothing against Nick Aldis getting back in the ring. But you can't tell me you don't have a good opponent lined up for Gunther. And I've heard Royce Keys. No. I don't need Royce Keys against Gunther. Why? People don't know who the fuck Royce Keys is. You can't just put Royce Keys in a match against a guy like Gunther and expect the fans to really care or know what to even do. Are they supposed to just, well, like, we don't like Gunther, but we also don't know who Royce Keys is. I don't know what to do here. You don't want a dilemma going on inside the minds of fans during a match. I don't want to hear shades of gray. No, this is pro wrestling. Make it easy. So that was the big thing coming out of Monday Night Raw. And of course, we had Jey Uso beating LA Knight with Solo Sikoa interfering. And is Solo going to team up with LA Knight? Is LA Knight going to accept Solo Sikoa? We don't know. I mean, I guess we're all supposed to be hooked by that, which I'm not, because the Bloodline story apparently is running through WrestleMania 43, according to reports, which is just, I mean, what is happening? But that's the deal, guys. That's the week in review generally. Now, I know there's more that happened on Raw. I'll give you, to be fair, because this is the week in review, not the SmackDown week in review, I will give you the Raw rundown, not details, just match results for a reminder here. We had, beyond the Brock Lesnar Oba Femi thing that we've talked about, Rey Mysterio beat Ethan Page. We have Joe Hendry beat Austin Theory. We had LA Knight lose to Jimmy Uso, as Jimmy Uso was distracted, or Knight punched Jay off the apron and then Jimmy rolled him up for the 3 count. So Jimmy beats LA Knight. And then afterward, Knight punched Jimmy, and it ended up being LA Knight standing tall. And then we have Chad Gable, who again is going on this apology tour. I hate it. And Maxine Dupree ends up taking on Raquel Rodriguez for the Intercontinental Championship. And Raquel beats Maxine in 3.5 minutes. And Chad Gable beats JD McDonough in 11.5 minutes. And we had a really good Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins interaction that solidified their matchup for SummerSlam, hopefully with no third party, for the World Championship. So, fun week. Not a blockbuster week, but one that, I mean, between Rollins and Reigns, Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar in the Hell in a Cell, the uncertainty between Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and the returning CM Punk on Monday, there's things to talk about. And yes, where's Randy Orton? Where's Drew McIntyre? Well, we know where Kevin Owens is. So we got some big names also floating out there that could return just in time for or at SummerSlam. Kevin Owens is out, but I mean, it's very possible Randy Orton or Drew McIntyre do. So that'll do it for the week in review. If you guys want more ad-free content, head on over to patreon.com/WWE podcast. Or if I was Michael Cole, I would say head on over to patreon.com/WWE podcast. Yes, those double U's create a W, right? So, all right. I don't want to get into that. So, all right, buddy, thanks so much for listening. And I'll be back in a day or two with some more content, videos for those on Patreon. So stay tuned for that. And everybody enjoy. We'll talk soon.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.